Confidence in Madrid as Real Madrid eye up their move for Ibrahima Konate in the summer. They are getting more confident as the days go on for their signing of Ibrahima Konate in the summer for free. Remember that, guys. But Liverpool are still have been confident over the past few months in keeping one of their main centre backs at the club. But also talking about a few defenders that Liverpool have been linked to as well. Two Bundesliga stars. One has reportedly held initial talks with Liverpool in a move for next summer as well. And also a little bit on Marc Guehi and why that deal didn't happen. Andy Robertson has spoken about the club. And also a report that is linked to a Juventus star. So let's go over this morning's news together with you guys. And let me know in the comments your thoughts of the news stories coming up, what we're going to speak about. So yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Talking Reds, where we bring the latest Liverpool news, transfer news, and much, much more. I am waffling a little bit this morning. Don't know why, but I am. Yeah, there's been a few news stories over the weekend. It has been international break. It has not much been to talk about, but the boys are back this Sunday against Manchester United in a game which is, for me right now, is a must-win game. Must-win game. 3 losses in a row. Liverpool need to bounce back instantly. And what a better way to do it on Sunday against your arch rivals. So let's get into the news this morning, guys. Welcome in. Make sure you do hit that like button if you are joining us, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And also get in the comments as well for your opinions and your views on the latest news. So let's start off with then the Konate news. And according to Jose Felix, who is a journalist in Madrid himself, so it's coming from a Madrid source. So it is going to be positive for Madrid. It's going to be negative for Liverpool. That's usually the circumstances when it comes to Madrid. There is a belief at Liverpool that Ibrahima Konate's commitment to Real Madrid is more than just a rumour. The Frenchman is Spanish side's number 1 target. So the past few months, Liverpool have been confident in getting, I say confident, they have been hopeful that Ibrahima Konate will stay with Liverpool. However, that tide seems to be changing. And the longer it goes on, for me, I've said it for a while, the longer it goes on, the more chance of him joining Real Madrid is the likely outcome. And this is another situation that Liverpool put themselves in, not getting a contract done earlier on. Now we're going into 2 months left until it's 6 months where he can speak to other clubs for free. He can sign pre-contracts in January. It's another one. It's another one, Liverpool fans. It's another one, guys. It really is. It's another one where we just got to wait patiently. And it's awful because Trent was a prime example of what we shouldn't let happen at this club. And there was a report the other week that we might not let this happen again, but it's still happening. And Konate needs to be sorted. His contract needs to be sorted. If he's going, he's going. We need to know, and we need to get a defender in. Certainly, for me, I want a defender in January, but also definitely at least 1 or 2 defenders in next summer at least for me. But yeah, belief in Liverpool now is that Konate's commitment to Real Madrid is more than just a rumour. Is it now the acceptance part of Liverpool now? Are they accepting it now that they are going to lose Konate? Because how many negotiations can someone have? How many contracts can someone be offered before I say, hang on a second, yeah? I think we've hit a brick wall here, and that's that. There's only so many offers you can offer. There's only so many contracts you can offer. There's only so many talks you can have before you sort of bang your head against a brick wall a little bit. Is that the case now with Konate and Liverpool? Have they accepted that Real Madrid is pretty much the destination for Ibrahima Konate? And good morning, Ibrahima Konate. I hope you're well as well, my friend. Hope you're well. And if you want to get your comments in, guys, like Ibrahima Konate there, get your opinions in on the latest news. Let me know in the chat, and I'll bring it up on screen as well. Yeah, so it looks pretty much like. Well, this, by the way, this guys, I'm going to say this though. It is coming from a journalist in Madrid. It is coming from a source in Madrid itself. So we know what PR works like. We know what our journalists do the same thing. Journalists that are Liverpool journalists, they will put PR onto Liverpool side, making it look like they haven't done anything wrong. whilst Madrid will make it look positive for Madrid and negative for Liverpool. That's how it works. The best journalists probably are to listen to one that haven't got any hat in the race, that haven't got any bias towards Liverpool, and got any bias towards Madrid. But right now, according to that Madrid source, that Liverpool are understanding now that it's just more than just a rumour regarding his commitment to Real Madrid. Let's just see, guys. Let's just see. I've said it for a long time. Look, I want truth, really. I want to be... If Konate is going to leave, I want him to come out and tell us he's going to leave. If he's going to stay, then I want to know. I want to see that he's going to stay. So, other than that, if he leaves, I'm not that bothered if he leaves at the end of the season, as long as he gives us all this season. But I'd rather him to stay because he's a brilliant centre-back. Regardless of his form right now, isn't good. But most of the team's not good at the moment. And we've been talking about the system and things like that, letting players down. Do I see him as a future centre back for Arne Slot, as in like for the next few years? Potentially, depending on who comes in. But I'd rather him fight for a spot, if I'm honest. I resign myself to the fact that he's going. It's how we replace him, which is key. Plenty of centre backs out there who come in. Guehi and Schlotterbeck would be my candidates. And for me, Robin Copper, as you said there, Guehi for me has to come in. We've got to go again in summer or again in January and ensure this guy comes in. But if Konate does leave in the summer, we have to get two. We've got to get two. Because remember, this season we planned for Guehi. Our plan was to get Guehi in. He was going to be an extra centre back this season. So that'd be one centre back. If Konate leaves as well, then we have to get two centre backs in for me. Within the space of January and summer, two centre backs have to come in. Whether it's one in January, one in summer, that's fine. But two centre backs have to come in if Konate is definitely to go for me. And it is. I've sort of like, I normally like do a little percentages. I normally say like, which side am I swaying with? What do I think is going to happen right now? Ibrahima Konate said that he's resigned himself to the fact that he's going. I'm on that side as well right now. I'm not fully on that side. I'm not saying fully is it. I think Konate's gone. But it's looking more likely that that's the case. It's looking much more likely that Konate is going to be joining Real Madrid for free. I just think the longer it goes on, the more it doesn't suit us. I've said that all along. And we're not seeing any breakthrough in talks. There's not been any positive news regarding the talks with Konate. Like, are they close to agreement? Anything like that? We're not seeing anything like that. What doesn't help right now is his performances on the pitch, because his performances aren't matching. It's sort of like giving Liverpool fans an excuse to say, yeah, just get him gone. And he's not helping himself on that part. I'd rather him, if he's going, fair enough, but I want him to play well this season, do the best he can this season, and then good luck with the future. But I want to know the truth. That's the main thing. We need to know the truth. We need to know what's going on. If he wants to go, let us know, for me. Going on to more centre-back news. So I'm going to go over before the where it says there, Liverpool talks with defender. Before that, I'm going to go over what Steve Parish has said about Marc Guehi. Crystal Palace chairman, Steve Parish, he's always talking, to be honest. He's always talking. But he has said something about Guehi and, why it might have broken down between Liverpool and Marc Guehi. It's a difficult situation. It's as simple as that. These things are never black and white. I've decided at the end that based on the advice that I got with, I think we should keep, to have a better season, we need to keep Marc. If we are fighting between the difference of 10th and 14th, if that was going to be the difference between keeping Marc and letting Marc go, then probably we have had to said, right, we should take the money. So basically saying the reason why they kept Marc Guehi is because of the season. They want the best outcome of the season, basically. But difference between 10th and 14th, it's a funny one, isn't it? Right? What's the difference between 10th and 14th? If Guehi is the difference between getting Europe and not getting Europe, then absolutely they have every right to keep Marc Guehi. If he's not going to force the move, he's not the player to force the move. He didn't force the move all summer. He sat there quietly, happy to get on with his career, happy to get on with his Palace minutes, and get his move next summer. Marc Guehi's always been happy with that. The early reports were that Guehi's happy to stay at Palace and get his move next summer. But if the difference between Marc Guehi's 10th and 14th, or difference between Marc Guehi and is Europe and not Europe, And it's a big difference. It is a big difference. 10th, 14th is nothing. It's nothing. So if they wanted the money, then they should have taken the money. But they can't cry about the money now if they want to let him go for free. I don't want to hear about the money. Are they going to regret Marc Guehi not going for the money if they miss the money, whatever it is, 35 million? I'm not. I don't think that. I think they'd rather Marc Guehi. I think Crystal Palace fans will say the same thing. Marc Guehi staying for another season is better for them. Whether he let you go for free or not, 35 million is not going to change their entire season. But Marc Guehi could change their entire season. I think with Marc Guehi there, that gives them the better chance to get in Europe again. It gives them a better chance to go win a trophy, for example, because he's absolutely key. And again, this season, proving how key he absolutely is. And Palace, the reason why they're so hard to break down is because they're built on players like Marc Guehi who are so good, and especially leadership and things like that. Losing the captain would have been a huge miss. Someone that is integral to how they played last season and this season as well. Getting their FA Cup win. Marc Guehi, the first captain also to do that at Crystal Palace. It's a big miss. I can understand why they'd want to keep Marc Guehi. It's the same reason why us Liverpool fans want Marc Guehi. He's an incredible player that brings so much to a team. But at the same time, if they wanted that money, they should have cashed in. I think I don't understand why he says. I don't understand. For me, Steve Harris says here difference between 10th and 14th, because I don't think that's Palace's aim or Palace's ceiling. 10th and 14th. Palace should be a good enough right now to go get 7th, 8th, even higher. That's how good they are at the moment. And I think that's where they should be aiming for. They should be aiming to get Europe. Yes, they got Europe, not by places last season. They got Europe because they won the FA Cup. But I think they can get Europe by place in the league as well. I think they are that good of a team, and they are that well managed by Glasner. Berry Corbett said here, also we need to follow plan for Van Dijk as well, so there could be a lot of change in the centre-back position in the next couple of years. I think Leone was sort of seen as like the Van Dijk sort of replacement, I'm sure, because he does play on his side, but obviously his injury, we don't know what, when you're out for such a long time, you don't know how they're going to respond back to it, you don't know how they're going to come back. Hopefully he comes back fantastically, and I think he will. I think he's got so much talent, Leone. But again, like Berman Coppett said there, we do need to look at the centre-back position massively next season. I said next season, certainly even as early as January for me. We have to bring one defender in January, because we're already seeing now issues with Konate's injuries. Gomez is not fully reliable with his injuries, is this? So we're going to, at some point in the season, we could easily go down to Van Dijk as his own centre-back. That could literally be the case this season. We could go down to Van Dijk as our own centre-back. So for me, we need to bring in a centre-back in January. Regardless if Marc Guehi is coming in summer, we need to bring in a centre-back in January. For me, Konate is gone. To be honest, I'm not bothered just bringing two defenders come Jan. Tony, would you be happy with one defender January, one defender summer? I think that's probably should be the outcome for me. I don't think we'd bring two defenders in January. I think it's a bit of a too much change in that singular window for that in a one position. For me, one defender in January, one defender in summer, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that for me. I'd look at Schlotterbeck. I'd look at an Antonio Silva. I'd look at players like this, an Upamecano. If we can somehow get them in January, that'd be perfect. If we can get Marc Guehi in January, that'd be even better. Is there any news on how serious the Konate injury is, says Berman Copper? Nothing I've seen as yet regarding. I saw the report saying that it could be minor. It could be a minor injury, just like maybe an injury worry. But it's nothing to risk him for with France. He might be out of the game on Sunday, potentially. I don't know. I've not seen anything. No one's ever said, no one said how serious it is or what injury he's got. No one knows really what injury he's got yet. But I'm hopeful. For me, if I were giving my opinion right now, my prediction, I can imagine him missing Sunday, or at least on the bench Sunday. I can imagine it being Gomez and centre back on Sunday, which it's not good. I like Gomez, but it's not good as in like Konate in the news for Konate. Let's get on to other centre back reports then. So centre back is the main discussion right now in terms of Liverpool reports, in terms of transfers. Konate, Guehi, Upamecano, Slotterbeck. There's quite a few players linked to Liverpool, and also the Konate news with injuries and things like that. That's all we seem to be talking about at the moment, centre back. But Fabrizio Romano has come out and spoken about Upamecano. Liverpool are one of the clubs attentive to the situation of Upamecano, with Bayern Munich defender currently set to be available on a free transfer next summer. There's so many players next season going for free. Guehi will be free. Konate will be free. Upamecano will be free. Maybe the way the transfer window's going, the way the transfer sort of area now in football is going, is I don't think people are willing to pay much anymore. You know, Real Madrid have set a precedent here by waiting for players' contracts to run down and then getting them for free. Real Madrid have set that precedent, right? And I think a lot of clubs are now following that sort of situation. They're not willing to risk another 35 million, another 40 million for defender when they can get him a third player when they can get him for free next summer. You know, we and ahed all summer for Marc Guehi. Crystal Palace wanted £5 or £10 million more. We could have easily done that. And we'd have Marc Guehi this season. But we were in no rush. We said, all right, we'll wait it out. We'll get him later on in the transfer window if needs be. But we're happy to wait till next summer because he's going to be free. Do I like that in terms of us missing out on Marc Guehi? No, but I understand it as a whole concept of waiting players for free, because I think the whole transfer, the word I was looking for when I was thinking of transfer there, and I said area, the word market. The transfer market right now is as bad as it's ever been. 95% of players are overpriced. You very rarely get a Andy Robertson for 8 million. You very rarely get a Matt McAllister for 35 million, which was a release clause. Pretty much all players are overpriced. And I think there needs to be a reset in the transfer market. I think there needs to be a reset. Or there needs to be rules put in place where players can't be bought for over a certain price, or clubs can't spend over a certain amount of money. Well, the FFP is that, but when clubs like Liverpool and Man United make tons and tons of money, we can spend way more, clearly. But I think they should put a cap on prices of players, and I think they should put a cap on wages, for me personally. But that's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. And right now, this is why players go for over £100 million. And what doesn't help then is not in the fact that the whole transfer market is ridiculous and there's money going around that is an absolute jerk, when there's bigger things in the world that need money more so. It's the players that suffer from it. Not financially, because obviously they're well set. The amount of money that they could probably take all the criticism they want, but they suffer from it because they're then held with that price tag. Wirtz has had a bad season because of the price tag. Isaac will have a bad season because of his price tag. For me, it shouldn't ever work like that. That's why I don't look at price tags as in it does. The price tag doesn't affect my thoughts and my opinions on the player. It affects my thoughts and opinions on the club buying them for that price tag. We should never, anyone should never ever pay for £100 million player for a player. No player is worth £100 million. I'd say in my head, how I would see the transfer market and I would see value of players, I think the top price for a player should be £80 million. And that has to be, for me, the best in the world football, like a Yamal, like a Salah, like a Dembele. They're the ones, Mbappe, they're the ones that can go to £80 million. Other than that, I wouldn't go past that for me, in my head. But right now, the football market is and has been ridiculous for a long, long time. It has been ridiculous for a long, long time. And this is what happens when greed and power and money is running the game that we love. And it has gone that way. It has gone that way over many years. It is turning into franchises. It is turning into a globalized sponsorship. And it's just ran by power. This is why, corruption in FIFA and UEFA happened, because it's run by power. It's run by money. This is why we're seeing potentially games being played abroad. That should never happen. It's greed. It's greed. And every single person across the world should be able to watch their football team live in person. Pre-season tours that for that, or they should do more for overseas. I think clubs as a whole should do more for overseas fans, as in like maybe get tickets out there and things like that. But they also should look after people that local fans and fans that are in this country as well. Every fan should have a right to watch their team. And you know what? Overseas fans get looked down upon for no reason for me. Because some overseas fans have to get up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning to watch their team. That is dedication. And that for me needs to be rewarded. However, when it comes to season and when it comes to in-season games, Champions League games, La Liga games, Serie A games, Premier League games, they should be played as they always have been played in front of in their own countries, and that's it. For me, it's just ran by greed. Is this game now? And that's why it's gone the way it has gone. Because it's ran by greed. I can't stand it. I can't stand it, me personally. In America, they have certain wage and money caps on like basketball. But the thing is with America, though, Tony, is the reason why they can do that is because of all the money they make through sponsorships as well. I mean, basketball players, they might have wage caps, but the amount of sponsorship deals they get and stuff like that. And in terms of the league as well, the league is just full of sponsorships. It's full of advertisements. So they're not gonna. So they can easily cap wages and things like that. So America has certain money and wage caps on some sports. Even average players go for £50 million plus these days. Look at the likes of Elango and Madueke. They have never been worth £50 million 10 years ago. Maybe half of that. I mean, I think Madueke is a brilliant signing. I said it at the time. I said it's a brilliant signing for Arsenal. I said it's exactly what we need for Saka, a backup for Saka. But again, £50 million. And this is why it's not fair on Madueke. Madueke got a lot of stick, by the way, for that move and said, oh, my word, as if he paid £50 million for an average player. I don't think he's an average player. It's just because he had £50 million on him. People hated him. Arsenal fans hated it. And I get it. It shouldn't be £50 million, but I don't put that on the player. Madueke is a brilliant signing for Arsenal, regardless of the money. I don't look at the money. Because if we look at the money, then you could actually call Lverpool a flop. Because he's not playing at £120 million, £100 million, £160 million. But I don't look at the money. Lverpool hasn't been a flop. It's just not been as good as he should be yet. But he has had times. He hasn't been bad. He's been all right, and he's been brilliant at times for me. But I don't stick that £116 million on Lverpool. I don't do that. Because if you did, then if you stuck the original price tag on majority of players, every single player has been a flop. Every single player has been a flop. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not worth that price that they're paying for. Even like, it's madness how footballers for me. I think football as a whole has got worse, as in like the ability of footballers. I don't think they're as good as they used to be. That's not nostalgia either. Like, I'm just genuine. I think players of the past would walk into teams right now. But even that, it's mad how like football's got worse. It's more about coaching these days. But then the prices have gone up for footballers. To me, that goes against our logic, doesn't it? It makes no sense that footballers have got worse, but then they're worth much more than what they used to be. That's just the way of the world. I think world is just run by greed and run by money. And that's why I don't put prices on players, though. It's not their fault. Speaking of players, though, so Upamecano is one defender that Liverpool are looking at. And I think few clubs are looking for at Upamecano for money. And Liverpool are just one of many clubs that are looking at him because he's going to be free. And when they were talking, when we got Konate the first time, it was him and Upamecano, wasn't it? That were both at Leipzig. A lot of people said we got the wrong player at the time, but Konate for me, I think has done better than Upamecano since that signing, since we bought him. So I think we did get the right player. But again, Upamecano is a very good player. Can he make mistakes? Yes, but everyone makes mistakes. But I think he's got bags of potential. I do think he's got bags of potential. I don't think Upamecano would be one that we buy, but it's certainly a player that we should be looking at for me personally. And one player that we could be looking at and certainly could buy is the latest news on the talks with defender. So it says at the bottom, Liverpool talks with defender. This is exactly what the defender is and who the defender is. Dave O'Cop coming out exclusive yesterday. Liverpool have held initial talks over potential signing of Nico Schlotterbeck from Borussia Dortmund. Liverpool have a genuine interest in the German defender. Talks are at an early stage, but a respected agency is working on a potential transfer. Liverpool have an interest in the number of centre-backs candidates. So we are certainly looking at centre-back. Obviously, Marc Guehi was pretty much done and dusted until Crystal Palace pulled out on deadline day. So centre-back is certainly one place we are going to strengthen. I'm absolutely certain of it. Schlotterbeck, for me, would be a brilliant signing. Him and Guehi, for me, are probably 1 and 2 options for Liverpool right now. That's what I'm seeing through reports, through what might suit as well. What we are seeing with Konate right now, and what we are expecting of Konate right now, what Arne Slot's expecting of Konate right now, is something that doesn't really suit him. We are asking our centre-backs to be the ball-playing centre-backs right now. We are asking both our centre-backs to be controlling games, which, for me, I don't like that. I prefer midfielders to do that. But that's what Arne Slot's asking. Konate is not a ball-playing centre-back. We already know this. And this is why it makes no sense for us to play this way with Konate there. But 2 players that are ball-playing centre-backs are Marc Guehi and that are Nico Schlotterbeck. These 2 are 2 players that are certainly ball-playing centre-backs. And I'd be happy with both. I don't know why he's put Schlotterbeck. I thought it was Schlotterbeck. I was thinking then. Dave O'Cott's put Schlotterbeck in his exclusive, but it's not Schlotterbeck. It's Schlotterbeck. I thought it was Schlotterbeck. I put Schlotterbeck in the description. I'm sure I have. But yeah, Nico Schlotterbeck at Borussia Dortmund is certainly a player that would suit Arne Slot. If you want someone that can pass the ball out from the back, that can control games from the back, Schlotterbeck is that player. So is Marc Guehi. So I understand the links. I understand the players that we are linked to at the moment. It's sort of going against Konate, and it also then adds to the Konate could be leaving, because look at the defenders that we are being linked with. They're all ball playing centre backs. So, and when Ibrahima Konate isn't, it sort of shows a little bit of Arne Slot's vision. So for me, Arne Slot's vision, if he's going is basically on his vision, Konate is not in his vision. If he wants ball playing centre backs, Konate should not be in Arne Slot's vision going forward. But for me, I think we need a mix. I don't want to fully rely on our defenders to be the ball players. I want a DM to be that. I want our midfield to control games. And who was it that spoke about it the other week? That they don't like. I think it was Carragher spoke about it. They don't like how football's gone when it's gone to like centre backs controlling games. It's midfielders that should be controlling games. Midfielders have always controlled games. And for me, midfielders are the controls. They must. I think midfielders are the best players on the pitch. And when I say that, the most intelligent footballers, the ones that can control, these are the ones that should be controlling games. But football's gone to the point where everyone's so high up and defenders are being ball-playing centre-backs. They're the ones controlling games. They're the one with the most passes. I've never really liked that for P personally. I think it should always be the midfielders. Hi, Darren. Do you think Isak starts on Sunday, or will Hugo get a chance to start? High up for me, John. If I'm on form right now and looking at the way we're playing, I'd play both of them. I'd play Ekitike from the left right now. I'd be dropping Gakpo for Ekitike right now. That's what I'd do. He played on left again for France, didn't he? Alongside Mbappe. So which makes no sense actually, because Mbappe likes the left-hand side as well, doesn't he? But yeah, I would personally put Ekitike on the left and Isak up front. But what Arne Slot would do, I can't see Arne Slot dropping Gakpo. So I personally think he plays Isak up front with Gakpo on the left. I don't think he plays Ekitike, but I would personally play Ekitike from the left on Sunday. My only concern in relation to Schlotterbeck is that I think he just come back from a serious injury, but his quality would suit us as well. But again, with Schlotterbeck, if he is suffering from the injury, we've still got, if we get Marc Guehi as well, Berwin Kopai, then that's competition, isn't it? If I was centre back options next season, Schlotterbeck, Guehi, Van Dijk, Leone, and Gomez, I'm happy with that. But I'm also happy with if Konate's still there as well. I think we need 5 centre backs. We need 2 in each position that can fight out each position, and then we need also Gomez. Gomez covers centre back, left back, and right back, so he's like an all rounder in it that can cover it all. And again, Gomez is only into his last years. I think it's his last season next season before his contract runs out. Whether he signs again, I don't know. It'd be really odd. Joe Gomez not being at Liverpool. He's been here that long. He's been such an integral part of our success. It'd be very odd for him to leave, but I think he will leave at the same time. Does that make sense? I just think when he's not here, I think it'd be very odd not having him as an option. I don't classify Joe Gomez as a full option anyway, because he's that injury prone. I can't fully classify him as a full option, if that makes sense. I was the same with Thiago. When people were saying, "Oh, we don't need him in the field," we do, because Thiago's always injured, Keita's always injured, so we can't rely on them fully as an option. But yeah, regarding Nico Schlotterbeck, I think Schlotterbeck and Guehi for me are probably our 2 main targets in January or summer, wherever. Upamecano's obviously linked, but I don't think Upamecano suits us more than Schlotterbeck and Guehi. So for me, I'm happy with both of those coming in next summer or certainly 1 in January, 1 in summer for me. And I think the most likely outcome, if we do get 1 in January, I think the most likely outcome would be Schlotterbeck in January, because with Guehi, it's going to be hard to get Guehi out of Palace unless we really stick down £30 million or 25 to £30 million down for Guehi. But I don't think we do that. It's not a chance. I don't think we do that. Not when we were unwilling to pay a little bit more in summer. So I think we wait for Guehi in summer. But if we do that, go get a Schlotterbeck. Go get someone else in January. And then at least we're sorted for this season. Because like I said the other day, I've been saying for a while now, not getting a centre-back in January could be a title-deciding mistake. It could be. It could well be, because right now we've got Van Dijk, we've got Konate, we've got Gomez as centre-back. I don't want to hear this nonsense about Gravenberch going to centre-back. I don't want to hear this nonsense about Endo going to centre-back for the season. I don't want to hear this, because that would be ridiculous. That would be absolutely ridiculous. That could cost us the title. And we have no reason to cry about it if it did. No reason to cry about it. If we don't go get a centre-back in January, and we lose Konate, or we lose a Gomez, and we have to play Gravenberch or Endo at centre-back, and we lose the title, I don't want to hear any crying about injuries. I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it, because I heard it last time, and it was ridiculous last time. It was on us. It was on us. You know, the funny thing is, these fans that cried about the injuries in 2021 are the same fans that had to go Arsenal fans crying about injuries last season. Where's the logic in that? So you can cry about injuries, but Arsenal fans can't cry about injuries. Both as bad as each other. The reason why we lost the league in 2021 is because of us. We went into a season with 3 centre-backs, 2 of them injury-prone, and cried about injuries. And then even when the injuries happened, we still didn't respond. We said, Fabinho, Anderson, okay, you guys can play centre-back. They did a good job, actually. Both of them did a good job. But then we suffered in midfield. And then January the 1st came around. We just stood still. We watched it like, hey, we're happy. We're happy with Fabinho and Anderson at centre-back. We're happy with that. It's all good. Fabinho took a little knock and we thought, no, let's panic. It's panic stations. Fabinho took a knock. Panic stations. Hit that red button. And who came in? Kabak and fucking Davis. Fuck off. I'm not having that again. We need to learn, as Berwin Kopai said there, we need to learn from the lessons of 2021. And we seem to never learn from these mistakes. That's the issue. I said it the other day. We need to start being proactive instead of reactive. That's been our issue at Liverpool. We've always been reactive. We only bought a midfield when all our midfield left. And people say, oh, well, we bought these midfielders, We didn't buy midfield for like 5 years. I think Thiago was like the only midfield we bought in like 7 years, 7, 8 years, maybe 6 years. Might have been going too far there. But we never refreshed that midfield. The only time we bought the midfield then is when Edison left, Fabinho left, Keita left, Thiago left. They all left. Oxlade-Chamberlain left. All these players left, and that's the only the reason why we bought McAllister, Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai in one season, and Endo in one season. We bought them in one season because the whole midfield left. It wasn't because we were being proactive. It wasn't because McAllister, Gravenberch, or Szoboszlai, one of those should have come the season before. Because our midfield struggled that season, and it was clear to see. It was the season when I think a lot of fans were asking for new midfielders. We were asking for new midfielders, and we got laughed at. What are you on about new midfielders? What are you on about midfielders? James Pearce even looked down on fans, then laughing at them, saying, "Oh, we look ready to go again." It was bollocks. It was absolute bollocks. Everyone with eyes, everyone that understands football, knew that we needed midfielders going into that season. What season was that? 2023, I want to say. It was a season when we ended up in Europa League. We ended up in Europa League. I can't think what season that was. Was that 2023? I want to say. I think it was 2023. We ended up in Europa League that season, and we needed midfielders. Same with centre backs now. We can't cry. I don't want to hear crying about injuries if we don't go get a centre back in January. I don't want to hear it because it's not an excuse. It's just bad planning. It's not being proactive instead of reactive. So it's on us. If we don't get a centre back in January and it costs us a league and we have to play Gravenberch at centre back or we have to play an Endo at centre back and it costs us a league, then that's on us. That's nothing to do, it's not on injuries. I thought it was Bourbon Cup out. Yeah, 22-23 season. I thought it was. Yeah. But we didn't, we need to learn from these mistakes. We need to start being proactive. We've got no excuses now. We've got the money. We know we've got the money. We knew we always had the money to do this stuff. We've got the right people in charge. We've got Michael Edwards, we've got Richard Hughes. FSG is starting to show a little bit more ambition. With no excuses now to do this. I would like us to not think we're not naive to make the same mistake again. I would as an old Bourbon Cup, I would, but am I fully trusting that? No. Because I'm already seeing reports now that we're happy with Endo and Gravenberch covering. That came out early last week. A report said that. So, it's deja vu. It's deja vu. These are the reports we saw before. And when we're seeing reports like that, sort of like bracing themselves like, oh, we are happy with Gravenberch and Endo centre back cover. I'm not. They should not be options. They should be literally tried everything else. And that's all we've got left. If we go get a centre back in January, right, and we still get injuries to the point where we have to rely on Gravenberch and Endo, that's not on us. That is just sheer unlucky. At least we've done everything we can. Go get a centre back to cover. But right now, yeah, it's not good. Hi, David. Thoughts on Bradley? He was good for Northern Ireland, but not for us. Everyone's been good, John. I don't know if you've noticed, but every single player has been brilliant in the international break. Every single one of them. They've been brilliant. Ekitike was fantastic. Kirkers were fantastic the other night. Up and down the wing. Up and down that byline. Kirkers was fantastic. Bradley was fantastic. I don't know one player that hasn't been brilliant for their country. Which tells you the problem. It's at Liverpool. It's the system. It's not the individuals. Yes, individuals are playing poor. And I think Arne Slot will get the best out of them. Because if, once Arne Slot does get the best out of these players, we've got a team on our hands. We've got a serious, serious team on our hands that can go win big trophies. It's how you juggle the competitions and rotation up until January. It will be interesting to see what type of side slot players in the next League Cup games. It would be actually Birmingham Cup out. It'd be interesting because also, who do we play at centre back in the cup games? Will it be Endo? It might be because Van Dijk will need vesting. Konate we can't fully trust in terms of his injuries. Gomez will probably play, and then we ain't got anyone because Leone would have been that guy that plays centre back in these cup games. He was fantastic against Southampton, but the unfortunate injury happened, and we ain't got him now for a year. So it would be interesting who does play at centre back. It wouldn't surprise me if it is Endo in the League Cup games. I'm okay about that, but if we're relying on Endo and relying on Gravenberch at centre back in Premier League games and Champions League games, that's a no go for me. That's a no go for me. So yeah, Schlotterbeck and Guehi seem to be the two players that we are looking at centre back in terms of the most priority, the most targeted players. I think those two are the most likely to happen, if any are to happen. So yeah, I'm going to go over the reports of also Dave Elkop. Dave Elkop came out with this as well, talking about a Turkish journalist called Emir Sarigul has come out and said Liverpool have entered the race for Juventus young forward Kenan Yildiz. Liverpool reportedly scouted Yildiz in Bulgaria as they watched the Turkey international in action in their most recent World Cup qualifying match. So that's certainly a player that has caught the eye of many, many clubs. Yildiz. He's been fantastic for Juventus. And again, like when he played in Bulgaria, it caught the eye of Liverpool there, scouted him then. Now we're still scouting him now. He's at Juventus. This is according to Turkish journalist Emir Sarigul that we actually went to scout his most recent game as well in his World Cup qualifier for Turkey. What a player he is, by the way. What a player he is, by the way. Certainly a player that we should be looking at and going forward. Someone that's direct, someone that can attack the goal, someone that's got bags of potential. And again, not fully, he can easily play a bit, he could easily play behind players as well. He's only a young lad, so he's got plenty of potential. I don't think he minds being a backup player, which is perfect really at times because we just need competition. I think we need competition certainly in that area of the pitch to keep players on their toes for me, because it's too many times where players are getting away with bad performances, but no one's on the toes. That's the issue. And Yildiz can play either side. That's the brilliant thing about Yildiz. He can play either side. He can even play as a striker at times. But like Gakpo, if he plays poor, Yildiz is behind him. But then again, I don't want to really block Ngamoa's development either, because I think Ngamoa would be brilliant. But I think Yildiz, for me, I'd mainly look at Yildiz if at the right hand side of the pitch. I know he plays on the left, but I think with how versatile he is, he can play on the right as well. But I'd maybe look at him as like a Salah backup. If we had Salah and Gakpo as wingers and Yildiz and Ngamoa as backups, the potential both of them have, that's perfect for me. Hi, bro. Actually, I suspect the club are actually not going for the title this season. It is we, the fans, that's showing the ambition, hence why the club was not happy to commit signing to Guehi. I mean, regarding Guehi, I said it a few times, mate. I've said it a few times. We should have really paid up the money for Guehi a little bit earlier on. 5-10 million were out, I think, the original reports throughout the summer. If we paid that up, would have had him. He'd be a Liverpool player right now. But we didn't do that. Didn't happen. And now we might suffer for it. Yes, we nearly got him over the line. Yes, that holding out nearly worked. That holding out forced Crystal Palace to drop their valuation. Nearly worked because at the end of the day, they accepted it. They accepted 35 million. He came and did the medical. We're going to become a Liverpool player, but they pulled out in the end. But like I said, if we didn't mess around earlier on, I think we'd have got him. Reece Williams says, Birmingham Cop out. I can't believe we might have to rely on Reece Williams in 2025. I doubt we'll get him. Wouldn't come cheap. He wouldn't come cheap at all. Don't know much about Yildiz, but he sounds like a highly rated player. Absolutely. He's a fantastic, fantastic forward. Like I said, I'd say not overlooked, but he came through the Bayern Munich youth side as well. Juventus got him quite early on, and they've turned into a bit of a star. How much Yildiz would probably go for? I think his market value is about 75 million euros, but I think he probably would be more than that, if I'm honest. The potential he has, versatile player, and exactly what suits this game, what Liverpool would need right now, I think, a Yildiz, someone that's direct like him. I think it'd be a player that would go for at least £100 million. Do I agree with £100 million? I don't agree with any. I don't agree with, like I said earlier in the stream, I don't agree with any sort of market value anymore. But I think that could be Juventus aren't going to let him go lightly. Not a chance. Not with how good he is. Not a chance. Maybe if we still don't want Federico Chiesa, maybe could be part of the deal. Potentially, I'm just putting that out there. Maybe because it's quite clear that Anslot doesn't want Chiesa. It's been quite clear since the start. So if it does sweeten, if we can get Yildiz and Chiesa could be part of the deal, then I could see that potentially because obviously going back to Juventus would make sense for Chiesa, and they get a player in return as well. So yeah, for me, I know somebody else who said there we have Rio. We should look to develop Rio and get him playing for Liverpool. I don't agree with signing Yildiz. I think because Yildiz can play on the right as well, I'd be looking at that more than anything. I'm not saying we're going to get him though. I don't think we will get Yildiz. I think we'd be looking more at like Semenyo. I can play usually right. But for me, like I said, Salah and Gakpo as wingers, Yildiz and Rio as backups. That's good. That's really good because both Rio and Yildiz are the next generation, the next players coming up and they'll play together. There could be a future with Liverpool where we have Rio and Yildiz as our wingers. And I think for me, either one could play either side. I think Rio could play right side. I think Rio would suit right side as well. I like him at left side, but I think he'd suit right side because I think he'd be like direct winger, that old school winger that can get out wide and cross it in. But I also like Rio coming inside as well. They'd be brilliant. Yildiz and Rio as our wingers, I could play either side. And they could keep swapping. One could be right, one could be left, and it'd work. I think Man United used to do that, didn't they? Man United used to do that with Nani and Ronaldo. When they had Ronaldo on the right and Nani on the left, he used to swap them sometimes, put Ronaldo on the left and Nani on the right. In game, they used to do it in game. And it confuses teams, but it also works massively. Yildiz and Rio and Gamo would be perfect for that. Because both, for me, could probably play both sides. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Is Keenan Yildiz a player that you would like to bring in at Liverpool? Or how much do you think Yildiz would actually go for? Because I think 75 million euros is the market value. But I think it's going to be at least 100 million pounds. Maybe even 100 million euros. So it's going to be a lot to take him out of Juventus because, like I said, is one of these stars in world football, one of these upcoming stars in world football right now, which is interesting. But yeah, so centre back and wingers we have been looking at in recent weeks, and as you know what. Berban Kopak reads my mind. I think he comes on here every day, right? He actually understands where I'm going to go with my segue. He knows where I'm going to go with my next thoughts and my process of the stream. Do you expect a quiet summer next summer and with the amount of business? Maybe a centre-back, DM, right winger, left winger, so maybe 3 max. And this is what we're going to talk about then, what players we would possibly bring in next summer. We did a stream on this the other week. What did I do it? Friday night I did a stream. Or Saturday night I did a stream on this. And I think 3. I think 3 players, depending on Konate as well, could be 4 players, including another centre back. If Konate leaves, we need 2 centre backs. We need a DM. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it until I go blue. We need a DM. And for me, a winger that can either play right wing, left wing, or both. And that's why you see the Semenyo links. That's why you see the Yildiz links, because these players can play both sides. At some point, we need to look at replacing Salah. I don't want to ever think about it, but that's the truth. Salah has got 2 seasons. That's his extension. Whether he stays on after that, that's a different question completely. If they keep playing like this, then probably not. But we still need to look at a salary replacement regardless. Even if he stays 2 more years, or if he stays another year extended, we still need to look at a salary replacement. Michael Olise can play both sides. Semenyo can play both sides. Yildiz can play both sides. These are the players that we're looking at. Players that can play both sides. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did get a winger, whether next summer or the summer after. But for me, a centre back has to be priority. Then I think DM. I think DM and winger are probably hand in hand as next priority. But for me, those three areas of the pitch, that's the only place we need to improve. For me, I'm happy with everywhere else on the pitch. We don't need a keeper. We don't need fullbacks. We don't need we don't need a number 8. Certainly don't need number 8. We've got McAllister, Gravenberch, Soboslai, and Jones. We've got 4 number 8s. We don't need a number 10. We don't need a striker. So for me, centre back, DM, and a winger, certainly. We need 2 centre backs and a DM, says Lee. I think we need 2 centre backs if Konate definitely goes. Yeah, if Konate goes, we need 2 centre backs for me. If we have to replace Mo Cody next summer too, then so be it. Then so be it. I totally agree with you. We need a DM, centre back, and a right winger to replace Salah. So 3 players for next summer if we are serious. My perfect 3, and this could change. My perfect 3 would be Guehi. See, I'm happy with either Baleba or Wharton at CDM. And a winger, number 1 in my head right now is Elise. Michael Elise is my number 1 winger. But again, I'm happy with Yildiz. I'm happy with Semenyo. 2 very, very good players. But for me, my number 1 would be Elise right now. But imagine getting Elise, Wharton, and Guehi. Crystal Palace 2.0. It'd be like Southampton all over again if that was to happen. But that's my preferences. I think a Wharton and a Baleba would suit us massively. Or even a Camavinga or a Tchouaméni would be perfect for Liverpool right now. But I think Tchouaméni would be hard to get out of Real Madrid. I think Camavinga is much more realistic right now. But yeah, it's going to be whatever happens this season, what happens next season. We certainly I don't think we have much to address next season, but we still need to address them regardless. Centre back, I think we need to address in January and then in summer as well. But whatever happens this season, doesn't it? But yeah, up you enjoy the rest of the international break. We haven't really talked about internationals today, have we? Really much, but we did speak about the players haven't played well in the internationals, which is good. It's good for them, and it's good for us because hopefully they bring their international form into club football on Sunday. But I think Alan Slott's got obviously 2 weeks now to work on what he needs to work on. But yeah, big game on Sunday. That's the next one. Manchester United. And what a better game to return to after international football. Well, have a great day, guys. Guehi, Slotterbeck, Wharton, Elise would be perfect. It would be. I think that would be. Camavinga injury prone. I get that, mate. I get that. That's why it's a bit further back on my list for me. Wharton would be perfect. But yeah, thank you for watching this morning. I hope you have a great day, guys. 1 second. Let's do this. We definitely sent it back in January, no question. Yeah, absolutely, Lee. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching this, guys, this morning. Thank you for getting in the chat. Thank you for being active. Thank you for getting your comments in. Make sure you do hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds to hit the like button. It helps out massively in terms of the growth of the channel because we did hit a wall not so long back in the channel. It was growing very, very quickly, but also season started, transfer window ended, and then algorithm changed on YouTube, so it hit a little bit of a wall, but all you guys have to do, that's all I ask for, is just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done, for all your latest Liverpool news and much, much more Liverpool content on here. Yeah, so have a great day, guys.